Jamar Perkins. It's crunch time.
It's crunch time here in the studios of Austin Peay. Zach Pew, Jamar Perkins, and Reese Britt always joining you here. Guys, we got a jam-packed show as usual. We really do.
Right.
But, yeah, first of all, I want to start with this. How was your weekend? Because I know we haven't done that in a while. Or weekend, whatever.
No, we haven't done it in a while. It's been going good. Just prepping for, the inevitable.
Absolutely, graduation.
So I know he's doing the same thing. I know he's had a much better week than I've had with some of the new stuff going down.
Yeah, it's been an experience. It's just for CrunchTime viewers, started a new position. So I've been working early mornings, so getting adjusted to that as far as my schedule. But hey, man, can't complain. Having fun. I'll say that it's been a fun week, like you said.
That's the most important part. But for me, we leave on Sunday to go to the ASUN championships. Yeah, it should be fun. We'll see what we can do. I always say this, but we're trending in the right direction. We've had guys play really well.
Right.
Me and another guy have played well all season. We've had guys here and there play well. So if we can all put that together, we'll have a shot coming down the back nine stretch on the last day. I'll promise you that. So we're
that's a guarantee right there.
Yeah.
Take that to the bank.
Yeah, no, take it to the bank. If we put four scores together, four guys playing well, we will have a shot to win.
Peay ASUN champions.
I think it's a great
guarantee.
No,
I think that's what I heard. I think that's what I heard too.
No,
man.
I didn't say that.
I think it's a great transition to APSU Sports News. Congratulations to Miller Green, and I am going to ask one of you to help me with this. How do you say this last name?
Lexi Osowski Anderson.
Osowski Anderson. Okay, for earning the ASUN Player of the Week it's the first for softball and baseball players this season to earn those honors. Softball's, sorry, I'm going to ask you one more time. Osowski Anderson had a record of 5 extra base hits in 4 games, batting a .636 average, which is amazing in softball. 7 for 11 on the week. Lyle Miller Green saw a week that posted 5 straight multi-hit outings in his last 10 games. He is batting a .490, 26 for 53, while getting on base over half of his at-bats. The last time I checked was at .550 for his on-base average, which is insane.
Yeah.
For any type of baseball player in general to be averaging that good. That's a guy that if you're a Major League Baseball player right now or you're a Major League Baseball manager, you're looking at a guy like that for your minor league because that guy is hitting nonstop, and it's great for anybody that wants to go to the majors.
Yeah, what's more impressive about that too is he actually pitches too. He's in the weekend rotation, so he does that and hits DH. Throughout the weekend.
Is he the next Shohei Ohtani?
Or
Babe? Is he next Babe?
For Austin Peay, he's our Shohei Ohtani.
He's our Babe Ruth, our Shohei Ohtani. Okay.
I will say, looking at it too, Austin Peay, when you talk about their baseball team, I've been looking at them. They're weird, man, and it's like you want to say like these guys are good, and then you see them they blow leads, and it's like I hope that they can get it together before the playoffs.
It's closing out pitching is what it is. So at the end of the day, anyone who watches baseball understands that depth is very important, right? And that's mostly for any sport, right? But for baseball, especially when it comes to pitching and rotation, you've got to have depth in that. You've got to have at least 2 to 3 guys that can come out of the bullpen every night and be able to end the game. You got to have a closer that can close out. You got to have a starting pitcher that starts pretty good. If you've got 2 good starting pitchers and kind of 3 meh for your 5 rotation, and then you've got only one guy that can pick up the slack in the middle of that, it makes it really hard to win a game. I mean, it's an uphill battle from there. And if your bats are great, that's one thing. Like we've seen them put up 25 points, 25 runs. We've seen another 24-run game. We've seen a 20-run game. So we know they can put up runs. But as you said, it's closing it out. It's finishing. Those 20-run games have also become because they were able to end with their number one pitcher, their number one closer, right? But then the next game, it's like 10 to 15 or 7 to 10, and then you're wondering what happened. You were in the lead for most of the game, and then it's because their pitching just stalled out.
Yeah.
Anything else on Austin Peay Sports? I know that the tennis team had a quarterfinals. Women's tennis team had a quarterfinals loss in the ASUN tournament, but they made it in their inaugural season, which is a great thing, right?
Same with the guys; they lost in the first round, but still.
I mean, hey, you made it. You made it. I mean, we know teams that didn't make it to their playoffs this year, so that's a big thing. Anything else on Austin Peay Sports news from you gentlemen? I know you got golf out of the way. I think.
Golf.
Right. Nothing?
Don't really have anything.
I mean, it's getting close to the end of the semester, so I mean, we've only got a couple weeks left. So a lot of these guys, just like you, I mean, you're at your ASUN tournament time. You're at the championship time. It's time to really be calling who's out for the next season, right?
Absolutely.
Let's move on to the NBA playoffs, as we got a great graphic up here showing about the NBA playoffs right now. The Bucks currently down in that series 1-0. Cleveland tied right now to New York. Philly up 2-0 on their series. You've got the Boston Celtics up 2-0 on their series. Denver's actually up on their series, which is a really good thing to see, because we talked about how bad Denver might have a problem with Minnesota. And then, Phoenix as well, tied with LA. You got Sacramento up by 2, which is interesting to see against Golden State. I'm going to have to ask you about that one. And then 1-0 Lakers right now heading. They play today against the Grizzlies. To update real fast before we get into our questions, Giannis injury, he is now questionable. That it was updated this morning. Questionable to play in Game 2 today. He hurt his back, just landed on it. It was it was rough to watch. And really, he didn't even get tangled up with anybody. He just went to try to kind of finish with that right hand. And
what you see there is it's Kevin Love trying to take a charge. Which,
right.
He's very good as a post player at taking charges. And, you see that, and you saw John Morant when he went down. It was because of a charge that was trying to be taken.
Man, and that was tough to see.
That's really hard. When you talk about players in the NBA, they're high flyers, and you see someone, as you see right here, you see someone trying to take a charge. It's hard, man. You're literally running into someone who's standing right there, and you're up in the air. So, how do you land, What
gets me better about this, if memory serves, Love, I think, ends up trying to talk to him once he realizes he's hurt, right? And Love's a class act, right? Kevin, we know from the Cavs and everything like that, coming over to Miami, we thought Miami would be a team that had potential to possibly do something with him, but this is a team that you and I haven't talked a lot about, which is the Miami Heat.
Yeah.
I asked you the question, if Giannis doesn't come back until Game 4, this is a whole new series.
I will say the Bucks are a good team without Giannis.
They are.
They're not great, but I think they're. You talk about Drew Holiday, Chris Middleton. They have a nice bench. Brooke Lopez, one of the best defenders in the league. They have a good team. So I do think that depending on how Miami plays, obviously they lost Tyler Hero with the broken hand, so that's a tough loss too. They'll need some players to step up. Probably Victor Oladipo.
Mm-hmm.
They played Duncan Robinson a bit too.
The bench.
The bench. But Oladipo, he's in injury. You think he's a good player, but they don't play him that much.
No, they
Obviously,
don't.
I think they'll be forced to play him now.
He'll have to log minutes.
When you talk about Tyler Hero not playing, so it's going to depend on that. It's going to depend on the bench, I think. We know the stars. We know Jimmy Butler's going to play consistent. He's going to play good ball. Kyle Lowry's been doing a good job as well. We know that Drew Holiday is going to play a good game. Brooke Lopez. I think it's about the bench in these two series. How is the bench going to step up for their lost stars?
Yeah. No, I think that's a great way to talk about that. Let's talk about Morant injuring his right hand in Game 1 against the Lakers. It is, as a Memphis fan, this is not what you want to see. But, I've said it all year. They play almost better without him half the time than they do with him on the court. So I don't understand it. It's not a great injury. It's rough to see. And really, even, too, I know the Grizzlies don't exactly make great love with a lot of teams this year.
I was going to say.
I know they're not exactly, but it's, as you said, it's another instance of trying to get the charge. And man, it is.
Yeah.
That's a rough. That's a rough take.
I was watching that. Let me pose you guys a question. Do you think John Morant is turning into the next Kyrie Irving in the way that his off-the-court stuff and in the locker room situations have kind of filtered into his play on the court, and how his team around him really plays with him or plays really without him? How well they play is what I'm trying to ask.
I don't know if I'd go as far as the Kyrie Irving stuff, because obviously we talked about it in the beginning of the year. There's that rumor of the toxicity in the locker room and all that, even though a lot of players love to be with him because the players love playing with him. And guys like Morant like playing with him, right? I don't know that the off court stuff has got to stop.
I'll chime in though. I will say, as far as the Grizzlies, there was something that was released that the night before the strip club incident happened. Steven Adams released something, was like, hey, y'all, we need to kind of dial down the club going and all that for these road games and stuff of that nature. And so if that's true, then that definitely probably harms the locker room or whatever. But when you talk about John Morant, his off the court stuff, I don't. Maybe it's a signal towards the Kyrie Irving situation, but I don't think he's gotten there yet. No.
No, I think like I said, I think it's hard to give him that same comparison. I agree with you. I think it's just he hasn't enough time.
And Kyrie Irving, you talk about the off the court issues. It's never anything that he's done. He's never faced any legal trouble or anything like that.
It's not the gun thing like we're seeing from Morant. It's not that. It's mostly COVID.
Yeah,
you know,
which
with the COVID thing.
That was always the most puzzling thing for me when I heard things about Kyrie Irving. You know, obviously I don't follow the NBA like you, Jamar, but it's one of those things I've always heard. You know, Kyrie Irving with locker room issues and off the court issues, but I never heard of anything in the news about him getting in legal trouble. Or really, it was only COVID that I heard, and a lot of people had a lot of things to say about that. So it was just always puzzling because they. The media would try and drum up something that wasn't there, and then
you'll like this, Reese, talking about Novak Djokovic.
Oh yeah,
he's a player who he missed out on big tournaments because he didn't get vaccinated.
No,
it's like now you look at
I'm
it.
not doing it.
So I think you can't really look at stuff like that and try to take that with character.
And reminder too, the Irving stuff that we keep being reported of, it's all from the news media because he has, and I will happily say this, Kyrie Irving has one of the worst ways of going with media. Like when it comes to media people, he's not dealing. It's like a Marshawn Lynch scenario. It's like I'm here so I don't get fined.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what it's turned in, especially lately. It's kind of what it's turned into. I mean, obviously we're not seeing him anymore because Dallas is done. They're not there, and that's very heartbreaking for Dallas and that trade and how that went. But at the end of the day, it's not great. Let's talk about and by the way, just an update. John Morant is going to be a game time call for tonight's game for Game 2 against the Lakers. That's going to be interesting.
Giannis is
a questionable. So there's a chance he could play, but we've already said pretty sure Morant's playing tonight.
Yeah, I mean, if you're being game time decision in the playoffs,
he tweaked a muscle or something. Is what I read this morning, that he tweaked something, and that's why he's now game time decision. But he looked like he was coming back, I thought. So last thing I'd like to talk about, and then I'd love to talk about some of the stuff that's happened in the playoffs. How about Westbrook having a heated exchange with a fan with the Clippers game against? I'm trying to remember right now where that was. Yes. Phoenix. Yeah. It is Phoenix. I had to remember that Phoenix was like actually had an issue against Russ because Russ played really great defense, just didn't do great with scoring. But yeah, the altercation, yet another instance. So we keep seeing athletes making this amount of money, like a lot of money, and having altercations with fans. Is this a trend that's growing in the NBA?
I mean, yeah, and it's like
it's weird.
I wish, I don't know. And obviously, you can't mic up every fan. It's almost like I wish there was more mics on the baselines or sidelines.
Right.
So like, I want to know this audio
because
it's always he said, and I didn't. I want to know what these fans. Not to say that I don't believe Russell Westbrook, but it's,
no. I mean, we know Westbrook has been talked to before in lockers, and we know he's been talked to by fans before because he wasn't getting a lot of love in L.A. when he was with the Lakers, and now he's with the Clippers. I don't want to get to the point where fans can't say anything. Like if you're on the sideline and you're a fan, I feel that you should be able to look at a player and say, "You're trash. You suck." Like, obviously, don't bring any family things to it. Don't, bring any racial things like that. But like, you should be able to yell at a player and tell them that they're trash, and that's okay. Right. I don't get this. I mean, we saw it in baseball. We've seen it in basketball. We've seen it a lot in basketball, at least a little bit more recently in the last few years. I don't get this. I can't take a comment from a fan scenario. It makes no sense to me. You're making millions of dollars to be there.
Depending on what it is.
Depending on what
it is. I get it.
Because if it's something about family, racially,
I get that.
That's unacceptable.
I get that too.
If it's just something like you were saying, like, oh, you're trash, like you can't hit, like
you missed almost half your shots tonight. Because he didn't shoot well that night. He shot poorly, but he had one of the best defensive nights. He held anyone in front of him to 6 points.
Yeah,
that including KD. Like, he played well. Like, I'm not dogging the guy for playing well on offense. He did terrible on offense, but defensively, that's a guy I want on the court.
You could be like Kevin Durant and just literally talk trash right back to him. And obviously, I don't know if Kevin Durant. I think he might have been fined for this before, but he'll literally cuss other fans back out. Like,
he will. I've seen KD. Yeah,
and maybe be like him.
So Golden State. Let's talk about Golden State and Sacramento Kings. You knew it was coming. Draymond Green having some situations and some stuff happening right now. It is a 2-0 series with the Kings. Kings leading right now. There was a very interesting way to end night one with that last second type shot type thing, or the last second pass. This right here, this stopping from Green, the stop of play that happens. Break this down for me, man. What is going through your mind when you're seeing this as a fan?
First off, I want to throw this out. I talked about starting that new job. I'm waking up at about 3:45 in the morning. So with this being a Kings-Warriors game, this is all West Coast. Yeah. So all of their games, this whole playoffs and what they've been so far, they're going to be like 9 o'clock, 9:30. And that hurts. I can't do that.
Dude,
and
can't sleep.
So I haven't really been watching these games like that. I've maybe watched the first quarter or something like that. But so I woke up, and I saw this, and I'm like, Draymond kicked out. Like, what happened? And then I see the video. And when you first look at it, oh man, it looks rough.
Yeah, it looks rough.
I think you have to factor that Sabonis grabbed his leg, and that I'm sure Draymond, he's just like trying to get him off of him. I don't think he intended.
Who's that on the ground again? I couldn't make out the number.
Sabonis.
Okay, Sabonis is definitely hanging on to him. No offense to Sabonis, but that man is definitely hanging on. Yeah,
and, I mean, it's not a basketball play from Draymond, but I think it's a flagrant one, and you move on. You know, I mean, and I don't like how late that was put. Like, I think they released that.
They were running.
As far as him being suspended, they released that like super late last night. And it's I think something came out about Sabonis possibly being doubtful for the game, so I'm not sure if they're waiting on his status. But they said the reason that they did it was because of the history of Draymond Green and what he's done as far as maybe the kicking and all that.
Which
we know he gets.
I really do not.
Aggressive.
You don't blame them for suspending him?
Well, okay. I wouldn't say that, but I would say like them suspending him because of what he's done in the past.
Right.
I completely understand, where they're coming from, because you kind of get a rap, like you do
like
something bad. It's
notorious type thing.
Yeah, exactly. Like everybody comes into a game and is like, okay, there's Ndamukong Suh. Like even the refs, will single him out and be like, okay, like he's he could create some trouble. Let's watch that.
What was it? We were joking about Green throwing punches against Memphis if they played each other. I mean that's legit though. We were. So I mean like this is a caveat to that. But let's move on to talk about some baseball real quick. Before that, I want to remind everyone you can find us on Instagram and Twitter at APSU CrunchTime. Follow us there as we show live videos of our cast and crew, ask questions to our fans, and keep you updated of what's happening in the world of sports. I know Reese is doing a great job by all that, and I know that we'll start seeing some golf stuff next week too about Reese's A-Son promise to you and I.
Watch out.
Hey, he's winning the championship. You guarantee it. I'm just saying.
I didn't guarantee that whatsoever.
But let's
I
talk
want
about
that on the record. I did not say anything of that.
Remind me, what grade are you in, Reese?
A sophomore.
Yeah, you got 2 more years.
I can't believe that 2 years of college has already gone by. I mean, that's
weird,
crazy
right?
to me.
It's weird, right?
Yeah.
Life goes fast.
It does.
Let's talk about the MLB top 5. Although there is a top 10 here, I've got top 5 on my paper right now. I updated this this morning. Right now, in the American League, we got Tampa at 15-3, Texas at 11-6, Toronto at 11-7, Baltimore 10-7, Minnesota at 10-7 for the American League. And then rounding out that top 5 as well, you got the Yankees at 6 at 10-7, the Angels at 9-8, the Red Sox at 9-9, the Guardians at 9-9, such a great name, and the Astros 8-10. I'm just so mad about that. And then let's look at the National League real quick. The Atlanta Braves at 14-4, Milwaukee at 13-5, the Chicago Cubs at 3rd with 10-6, Arizona Diamondbacks at 11-7, the New York Mets at 11-7, and then rounding out that, we got the Pirates at 11-7, Marlins at 10-8, Dodgers at 9-9, Padres at 8-11, the Reds at 7-10. Guys, the Rays will not go 162 games as you saw with the 15-3 record, but they did at least tie the 13-game undefeated record before losing Friday to the Blue Jays 6-3. And I want to talk about too, real quick, while I have the opportunity, the Rays actually have a really good chance of tying a record. As I'm trying to find this, there have been 11 teams to homer in at least 12 straight games to start a season. The record is 20 straight by the 2019 Mariners, who smashed the previous record of 14 set by Cleveland in 2002. They could be joined by the Rays, who have homered in their first 19 games in 2023. Just to let you know. Now, the record overall for that is 31 straight games, the home run, and that was by the 2019 Yankees. Because, the robots have to hit well.
Yeah.
So yeah. But interesting time right now in baseball. I'm enjoying the heck out of it, I tell you that much. But we're going to move on to our NFL stuff because we got a lot to talk about in NFL. Let's talk about real quick Dan Snyder, the former owner of the Washington Commanders, as Snyder has reached an agreement in principle to sell the Commanders for $6 billion. To a group led by Philadelphia 76ers co-owner Josh Harris. There's also that inside that group is Magic Johnson and then DC billionaire Mitchell Rales. I don't know much about Rales, to be honest, but I do know that Magic Johnson being invested is a very big deal. Congrats, Reese. No more Dan Snyder. I think you're happy about that, right?
I very much am. Yeah, God was looking down on us these past couple months because it's been tough. I mean, all I've known for my entire life really since 2002 has been Dan Snyder. He took over the team in 1999. Hasn't had a winning season. You're right. So that's pretty.
I want to say they came close with Donovan McNabb when they got him from the Eagles.
RG3 too when we went to the wild card game when we had to travel up.
That was the year he got hurt
Seattle.
too.
Yeah, in that same game. Which
I know.
Yeah. So and that was the guy that we traded away. It was Dan Snyder's call to trade away. You know, every single first round draft pick to move up to that second spot and get him. So it's just been
Good riddance?
It's just been decisions like that has really deterred me away from Dan Snyder. He's one on that list.
No, I got you.
I can't say that here, but it's that list.
Oh, I understand what you mean. Hey, let's talk about Jalen Hurts. He got paid 5-year, $255 million contract extension. He's not. He is the highest paid player in the NFL in NFL history. This deal includes $179.30 million in guarantees and a no trade clause. I want to break this down because the first thing that I got asked when I got sent this was, "How does this affect Lamar Jackson?" Because everything affects Lamar Jackson. Here's what I'll tell you: Jackson would have had a bigger deal if he'd have signed with the recent one that the Ravens offered. The Ravens offered LJ a $250 million contract. Now, obviously, that's different from 255, right? But there was 133 guaranteed at signing, and there was a $200 million total guaranteed. To where this is only guaranteeing $179 million in guarantees, and he has 110 guaranteed at signing for Jalen Hurts. So Lamar had a chance to be the guy, and still has had the chance to be the guy that breaks that record, right, of being the number one quarterback. And right now, I will tell you, there's one more stipulation because I got to add to this. One more stipulation is I've read that he told the Ravens, "I'm not signing any contract or the contract you've offered me until you get Odell Beckham Jr. and DeAndre Hopkins." And right now, we are rumored to be the one trying to trade for D-Hop on draft day night 1.
Wow.
That's the rumor mill now at this point. I don't think it's going to happen. I think they're going to say, "Look, we'll get you Zay Jones, and you can deal with it," because D-Hop's a lot of money.
I mean, yeah, we got Odell.
Zay Jones or Zay Flowers? Which one?
Flowers.
Flowers is the one in the draft. That's the number one.
Flowers is the one because he's talked about going, and we keep getting predicted to get him apparently at our draft spot.
What pick do you guys have? Is it the 20s or something?
20s,
okay,
something like
18,
that. Yeah, something like that.
He's projected to go around there.
Yeah,
so
no, I know.
If you guys get him, that'd be huge for that wide receiver room.
It's interesting. I'm happy for Jalen Hurts. Don't get me wrong. I'm great job for the Eagles. But let's talk about our division breakdown, guys. We got about roughly just under 9 minutes to talk about this. So let's talk about this division round.
22nd pick.
22nd? That's not bad.
Oh yeah.
That's still a good job to get him because to be honest, a lot of people above us don't have the potential to get him. But I'll take that 22nd pick trade and get a second pick if you give me D-Hop. Because I'll take D-Hop right now. I want to win. Okay, here's the deal. They need to win.
Yeah.
They need to win at least one more than one playoff game with Lamar Jackson.
I don't think D-Hop anymore is worth a first-round draft pick.
No, I don't think he is either, to be honest.
But he will be a lot of money.
But we paid Odell Beckham Jr. $15 million, and was he really worth $15 million?
No.
So that's what I'm saying. Yeah. So, I mean, they're willing to do anything they can right now, I think. And if you're going to make Lamar Jackson happy, why not? Let's talk about division round of AFC East. Is Mac Jones the franchise quarterback in New England, or is he out?
He's out. The way that he's talked and his head coach Bill Belichick have talked about each other and the situation, that he might be the starting quarterback this year. He might be the starting quarterback next year. He's right. Out though.
I don't think he's QB future.
No,
yeah, I don't
he's
think
not
he's
the future
anymore.
Of the New England Patriots.
Right, I agree with you. And I think you see that because Patricia became the OC, a DC coordinator became your OC guy. You're signing that guy's future away. Yeah, what do you think? Do you think he's gone?
I think he's gone. And I want to add too. I feel like the quarterback position in the NFL is one of the hardest things. As far as if you want to invest in one, or as far as being a player, you want to get into the league. Because you see so many quarterbacks that they're this in college, and then you get into the NFL and. It just doesn't work.
The comment that I'd like to say is about that because one of the college quarterbacks I keep seeing brought up about how he could succeed in the NFL, it's Hendon Hooker, right? Mm-hmm. And how Hooker can succeed. And then you bring that point up. It's a gamble, right? Every team is trying to get that home run hit. They want to get the next Tom Brady. They want to get the next Peyton Manning. Everybody thinks that's the guy, right? Especially when you're in the AFC South right now that's having to deal with Trevor Lawrence, who might be the next Peyton Manning, until the little Manning from Texas comes into the NFL. Just saying,
he looked rough.
I know he looked rough, but hey man, you got 4 years. You got 4 years in college, so good luck. Are the Jets the new top team with Aaron Rodgers? I don't think so.
No,
I'm going to let you know that.
Oh, and
the new top team in that division, or they're the new top team in that division, not the top team in the AFC, or the top team in that division.
Mm-hmm. I don't think so. You still got the Bills.
You need O-line.
Yeah.
Well, and we'll get to the Bills, right?
Yeah, exactly.
What do the Dolphins need to do to move up? By the way, just to caveat that, Tua contemplated retirement during this offseason. Came out and said he's not retiring. He will continue to play, but he did contemplate retirement after those injuries.
I think, you look at the Dolphins' consistency, you talk about, keeping players in. You talk about Tua, they were rolling, and then he gets hurt, and then that kind of messes up their season, I think, in a sense. When
they beat us, like week 3 with him, I was like, okay, this is a team that I don't want to play in the playoffs. No. This is a team I'm worried about. And then he got hurt, and I'm like, okay, well, I'm not scared of the Dolphins anymore. Because honestly, Tua with Hill was actually intimidating. Hill without Tua was not that intimidating.
What's crazy too is the Dolphins have had the best offseason of any team.
Oh yeah, they've
in
done
the
great.
league. They got Jalen Ramsey.
Mm-hmm.
Do I need to say anymore? Really?
No,
that was the
I know.
one spot. That was the one spot where they needed to shore up was the secondary and linebacking core.
Well, they had one good corner already, right?
Yeah, so they had it's not Byron Jones. Xavier Howard. They had Xavier Howard. Now you match. So he was a top 5 defensive
So you got
back
a whole
in the
other
league.
guy.
Then
yeah.
you've got the best defensive back in the league on the other side. I mean, he's going to match up with really any wide receiver one you're throwing at him.
Right.
Like
and
the
then
Eagles out here.
It'll be fun to see him
Yeah.
and Sauce Gardner trash talk each other on opposite sides of the field.
yeah.
Like, because that's going to happen. You know that's going to happen. Sauce going to try to say something. So last question about this, and then we got to move on. The Bills. What can the Bills do to get the Lombardi? I know this. Josh Allen needs to stop looking like Brett Favre, and you need to stop hiring old middle linebackers to play outside linebacker and hope that they're gonna end your career or make your Super Bowl team. Spent way too much money on Von Miller, and I said when he got signed, he's not making it to the end of the season. That's my thing. What do you think the Bills got to do to win the Lombardi? To even make it there, they got to beat the Chiefs, obviously.
I tried. I just had a dark thought, but
That's not.
I'm gonna
good.
say this in the best way. They need to kidnap Patrick Mahomes because as long as he's around, I don't think the Buffalo Bills will ever.
No, I agree with you.
And I say that the whole crew. I mean, Travis Kelce, Andy Reid.
That defense. Oh, and I do want to talk about too. Damar Hamlin, the guy that got hurt.
Yeah.
Congratulations to him, man. And I mean, big hats
Huge.
off from our show to him. He has been approved. He's been approved quicker than Zion Williamson has to get back on the court. So that was.
Bang.
Wow.
Shot at Zion.
Come
Sorry,
on,
I didn't mean to do
man.
that. I did actually.
Yeah,
Let's
I
start
was
with
about to say.
let's start with the XFL real fast. The XFL standings. DC Defenders are 8-1. St. Louis Battlehawks are 6-3. Seattle Sea Dragons are 6-3, and the Vegas Vipers are 2-7. And that's the XFL North. The XFL South, we've got the Houston Roughnecks at 6-3. The Arlington Renegades at 4-5. San Antonio Brahmas at 3-6, and the Orlando Guardians at 1-8. Let's talk about the XFL playoffs. They do have playoffs. 2 teams have clinched into that. The top 2 teams from each division, North and South, will earn a spot in the division championship, which is on April 29th and 30th. The 29th is going to be the XFL North, I believe, or XFL South, and the 30th is the XFL North game. The winner of those will move to the XFL championship game, which is May 13th. Currently, DC and Houston have clinched spots in the playoffs, with DC clinching home field advantage for the XFL North. Right? So the XFL week 10 games, we have Orlando at St. Louis, Saturday at 12 p.m. Eastern Time on ESPN. We've got DC at San Antonio Saturday, at San Antonio on Saturday at 3 p.m. on Eastern Time on ABC. Houston at Arlington Sunday at 3 p.m. Eastern Time on ESPN, and Vegas at Seattle Sunday 7 p.m. Eastern Time on ESPN2. It's weird. It's an interesting time to see how the XFL is kind of lengthening out and working out right now. I thought the playoffs would be different. I thought like maybe 6 teams, just 2. So sure, I mean it's weird.
Well,
So
we'll see. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say. So you're saying my Brahmas have a chance
If they win this week,
3-6,
maybe
we have a
you've got to be better than Arlington Renegades at 4-5.
The XFL South is
I wonder.
trash.
Yeah,
Oh, it
no,
is.
horrible.
It's bad, dude.
I wonder who has the tiebreaker in that game.
There's what's funny is
It probably is
I
like,
forgot to write the tiebreakers in for
That's
the script
okay.
because
I know I'm throwing you off guard.
The
a little
first
bit,
time I
but-
got asked because I was like, man, I don't know how there's a way the tiebreakers work.
Okay.
I think it's either points for or points against maybe, or it could be
that could
breakdown on
hurt.
who wins what in what division.
Yeah, I gotcha.
So there's like 4 rules that they have for tiebreakers. I guess because they have so many teams, they were aware that this would happen. So there are like 3 to 4 different variations. Even a tiebreaker game, I think, is a possibility.
Oh
So,
wow, that would be cool.
that would
That'd
be
cool.
great.
I'm gonna go ahead and say XFL. I think you have to look at the favorites here. It's obviously Defenders,
yeah.
but I did want to take this chance, Zach.
You're the
I
former
don't
champion.
know if we didn't talk about this.
Got
but,
about a minute left,
This
minute, 2 minutes.
will be Reese's last show with us.
It
Yeah,
is.
it
It
is.
is
And,
Reese's last show with us.
yeah.
We're
He's
passing
taking
that.
over, but yeah.
we're
Man,
passing you the keys,
gosh,
man. We
yeah.
just want to say, hey, thanks for
Yeah.
coming in with us, man. I
It-
thought it was just gonna be me and Zach here, and then we
Right.
get this young kid here, and that turns out he's
Look.
a great dude, man.
Absolutely,
Look,
man.
and I'm glad you stopped it right there because I wanted to say I wanted to say a few things. I just want to say you guys, coming in as a freshman last year, I just came up to David Ellison and I was like, hey, look, like I want to do this. You guys, you got a spot for me. And he said, yeah, right there. And so first
You
show,
did?
everything, you guys took me in with open arms. I was nervous. I mean, I was scared. I was nervous, little freshman, and you guys made it seem like it was like we had known each other for 5 years. career. So I appreciate what you guys have done, and I cannot wait to see where both of you guys go. And we'll keep in touch, no doubt, for sure.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it. I mean, this man's going to make millions of dollars. That's what it is.
Both of you guys.
I'm not in it for the money. Hey, but I want to thank each one of you, each week in, week out. You guys have spent this time with me every week. It's been great. Obviously, you and I will see each other next week. It sucks I can't hand you the keys next week, but I've already handed them to you technically. We'll talk. But it's been a great time getting a chance to do this, and we'll see you next week for our final episode.